All right, here we go, and we are back. The Stronger Together podcast is back, getting ready for FETC, highlighting the impactful voices that are going to be down in Orlando, sharing all of their great experiences, tools, products. My name is Matthew Joseph. I am the host of the Stronger Together podcast, and I am thrilled to have Stephanie Howell here with us, who wears so many hats in this field. I cannot wait to dive into her sessions and the work that she does, and her most recent project to help out X Factor Publishing. So we were thrilled for that. So Stephanie, welcome to the Stronger Together podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always great to connect with you.
And you're proudly wearing your Ohio State Buckeyes sweatshirt or quarter zip. Ready. We are recording this just before game time, so we're going to wish you well for sure.
Yeah, I hope. I mean, we did do pretty bad against Michigan, but it's gotten better, right? So right. I'm excited to see what happens tonight.
There you go. Well, for those who don't know the work that you do and is incredibly impactful, share your journey into education and the work that you're doing now.
Yeah, so I would say what got me into education was advocating for students with disabilities. That was the big reason that I got into education. And I entered education around 2014. So technology was just beginning. I think Google Classroom was created that year. And I started to see how technology could have a huge impact on students with disabilities. I saw it in my own classroom. And so I fell in love with how technology could support my students in my own classroom. And so I went into being a technology coordinator, technology coach, and now I'm a teaching and learning coordinator over at CAMI.
That is awesome. And how have you found that going from the classroom to more of the support side with a vendor or solution provider like CAMI?
Yeah, so that transition was very different at the beginning, right? Like meeting with different schools was eye-opening to me, hearing how different school districts have different initiatives, how they roll out those initiatives. And sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I agree with how you're rolling this out, or oh my, you're not supporting your teachers correctly. Like, I kind of able to hear a lot of different ways that schools have built up their culture, how schools support teachers. Some teachers, have multi-preps, where I came from a district that was kind of large. It was mid-size, and every teacher kind of only taught one subject.
Wow.
So that was interesting to me, right? Like going in and being like, you have how many different classes that you have to teach? Was just, again, eye-opening for me. So I've really enjoyed it. It's helped me understand how to be a better leader, how to be a better coach, and really listen to different districts and see what other people are doing.
Wow. And you're going to bring all of that down to Orlando, and you are very, very busy. You are a packed schedule. So we're going to go through some of your sessions. I'd love to hear kind of as people are looking through the agenda, what to expect. Let me take down, I'm going to leave that up for a second. That is her social media handle. Make sure to check her out. She posts some amazing resources there. So the first day, on pre-conference day, you have 2 large sessions. You have a 2-hour workshop with one of our very own Massachusetts educators, Erica Sandstrom, and Lights, Camera, Educate. What do we have here?
Yeah, so with Lights, Camera, Educate, that is going to be a really fun interactive session. Erica will sometimes send me like fun TikToks. She's called the Green Screen Gal. And because of that, I was like, okay, I want to get more into video, right? Like I'm really good at the planning side of it. But most of my videos are me off camera, like over the resources I've created, explaining how to use different strategies. And so when I connected with Erica, I was like, okay, you're going to be this part of the session. And I'm thinking I can be, like more of the planning, the how do you build this? How do you do that? And you're going to be like the crazy one that's always on the screen. So that's going to be fun. Session where you are going to be challenged to create with a group. So this is a great way to network with people. If you haven't been to a conference and you're like, I need some friends, this could be a great opportunity.
That is awesome. And then the second part that day, games. It sounds fun, but tell us what that's going to be about.
Yeah, so I've never led a mobile share. So this is going to be a first for me experiencing that type of presentation, but it sounds like there's just tables and people pop and go is what I kind of gather. And so we're just going to be playing some different instructional games, and you're going to be able to ask questions, again, network with other people. It's going to be interactive. And then you can kind of decide, okay, I am done playing games. I'm going to go see what somebody else has, or you can spend the entire time with me if you would like to.
Okay, that is awesome. So that's before the event even starts. That is a pre-conference day, and for most people, that is a full event of presenting. But you have on Wednesday, you start off for bots to brilliance. Now, I haven't seen a name like this before. So, how are we using AI to engage learners with bots and brilliance? Tell me about this.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about how we go from kind of that robotic, but we still need teachers. And so this is a poster session where you're able to come up anytime, visit, and kind of see all of the different resources that we have captured. So different ed tech, different instructional strategies on how we're able to use AI to really enhance student learning.
Mm-hmm. I like it. And so through that, how would you design a poster session versus a traditional session? Because I know they're coming back this year. They're the first, they've been out for a while. And when I interviewed Jen Womble to kick this off, she talked about bringing the poster sessions back. How do you plan differently?
Yeah, so for this poster session, I actually created an actual poster.
Oh, wow.
I did it for ISTE. One of my best friends, Bonnie, at ISTE one year, she had like an actual poster where before I've seen like people like pin different things up. And I was like, oh, I love and hate that, right? But at Bonnie, what she had is she just had one big poster. Everything was created in Canva. And so that's what I've done is there's kind of a it's like 3 different areas where you're going to be able to explore that bots to brilliance. There's QR codes typically with poster sessions, and you're going to be able to come up. What I love about poster sessions is you get to talk, you get to collaborate, you get to brainstorm together. You can share a pain point and we can kind of problem solve together how we can fix that pain point in your classroom, in your district. So that's the main reason I love poster sessions, because typically in a session, it's really hard to interrupt the presenter when they're presenting.
Yeah, and I like that. So again, we're only halfway there for what you have to do. We are coming back in the afternoon on Thursday with innovative solution for coaching, embracing the coaching cycle. And this one you're doing by yourself. You're the lead presenter, and talk about EdTech coaching from your lens.
Yeah, so I'm going to be diving into the coaching cycle. Hopefully, I got to read a little bit of a book that I think I've heard of. And so I really was able to kind of grab some of those examples. So hopefully I can highlight that upcoming book, Architect, in that session as well. But it's going to just focus on coaching strategies and how you can make those coaching strategies for your district even more smoothly.
And then wrapping up on Friday with a couple sessions, one in the morning and one, a little bit later, with crafting personalized pathways, and then empowering creative and critical thinking with project-based learning. So talk a little about how these are weaving into it, into the sessions as well. So when people look at Friday and they're like, it's our last day, I have 2 sessions to go to, I suggest you go to these 2. So what are they going to expect when they go there?
Yeah, so for personalizing, you are going to be able to experience the Teach Better kind of model using the grid method. So I don't know if you're familiar with our Teach Better team, but they have an incredible model where you're able to personalize and self-paced instruction. And so because of that, we're going to have a poster again with a roadmap where you're going to be able to dive in, ask questions. I'm presenting with Jessica, who I've met just through, again, social media, and we have been able to collaborate. She has some really strong inputs when it comes to assessment and using data, and I'm coming in with like kind of that executive functioning. How do you organize a classroom that's going to run so there aren't as many issues that I might experience?
That's great. So you have a lot going on, and again, if you happen to miss one of the sessions, make sure to check her out on social media. She'll be sharing. You do a lot of that work. And will you be at the booth at all? Will you be at the CAMI booth? So talk a little bit about your work and what is the booth number?
Oh gosh, booth number I need to look up, but I will be at the CAMI booth, and I will be presenting there. So feel free to stop by, say hi. If you need to try to find me, I'll either be at my sessions or probably at the booth. But I will be sharing some new features that CAMI has to offer, such as Questions AI and using formative assessments to see how your students are doing. You will also be able to see this new translate feature that is in beta that is able to support students that are maybe speak another language. And with that translate, it's going to translate for the students live. So if you're interested, stop by. Happy to show you, or sit through one of my sessions at the booth.
Oh, that is extremely exciting. Now, you're sharing so much, and you have so much knowledge. Where do you go for that learning? Like, how do you consume content?
Yeah, so I am a podcast listener. I listen to podcasts daily, multiple podcasts a day. And I also listen to audiobooks or read books. So right now I'm listening to Mel Robbins. She has the Let Them book. And oh, thank you for that number.
There you go.
And so, see, I can't even get my life together.
That's all right.
And so with Mel Robbins, it's just finding different resources and applying that into education and in the work that we do. And collaborating with others is another way as well. I feel like that's one thing that I've noticed is, when I was an educator, I could go to other sessions where now I'm presenting at the booth. And so that is something that I do miss. But occasionally I do get the privilege to go sit in on a session and learn from others, or I'll go on social media and be like, hey, what did you present about? Because I'm really interested.
Well, that is awesome. And I can't let you go without thanking you for your work and your forward and the book. I'm going to take this off. I want to make sure we see your name right there on the cover, forward by Stephanie Howell, the book Architect by Amy Bloom and Lori Guillen. And I remember we were talking about the book and talking about, right forward and things like that. And your name was universally the one where like, oh, why don't you ask somebody who is another amazing ed tech coach? So in your lens, and I don't want to make this about the book at all, but when you talked about coaching and the coaching cycle, that's something that I've never done. And as educators are coming to FETC, and ed tech coaching is one of them, for those leaving the classroom and going into that lane, what's some of your advice to them?
Yeah. So again, if you're brand new, I would highly suggest getting that book, adding it to your Amazon cart. It's already out there. And what I just suggest is building relationships, right? Really just getting to know your teachers that you are coaching, because if you don't have that relationship with them, everything else that you share, everything else that you do will not matter. And so that's the first step, is just really getting people to know you as a person, getting people to feel comfortable with you. Trying new technology is scary for a lot of teachers. And so again, if they don't have that trust with you, if they don't feel like you support them, they're not going to try new things that you want to try later down the road.
Now, as you saw for the first 15 minutes of what we talked about, Stephanie is very busy. She's presenting, over 5-6 sessions, be at the booth. Now, we will have some new presenters going down to Orlando. What would be some advice that you give some of our new presenters that this would be their first time at a national event presenting?
Yeah, I think one of the things that was hardest for me is, I presented all the time in my district, right, to my teachers. I knew their background. I knew their prior knowledge. I knew what tools they had in their tool belt as well, like what we purchased at a district. So that's my number one thing, is when you get there, you sometimes have to start with an icebreaker. And I know everybody rolls their eyes with what another icebreaker, right? But really using questions that first couple minutes as a formative assessment, where you're able to say, okay, what is it that maybe you know about this topic? What is it that you don't know? And gathering that information is huge. Another thing that I would suggest is make your session interactive, make it engaging, use some type of technology, maybe Cami, where you can gather your input from your folks, because you've got different people in the room. You have introverts that are afraid to talk, right? But they have really great insight. And then you've got those extroverts that will take over the conversation. And so using a digital platform like we would for our students, and allowing all of your attendees to collaborate, to add ideas, is another suggestion that I have to help you know that prior knowledge and to gather the room and the knowledge that the room has.
Well, that is awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing just a little bit of your time. You have a very busy week ahead, both in
So
the session
good.
rooms, in the expo hall, and I think you're heading out on Monday. So we'll see you there Tuesday and all the great things you're doing. If you see us podcasting live, make sure to stop by and say hi. If not, make sure we cross paths
Yes.
for sure.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Wonderful. And thank you for stopping on. Make sure to follow Stephanie. And for those of you watching or listening, we will have one of these each and every day up until the start of FETC on Tuesday, January 14th, where we'll be podcasting live from the show floor in Orlando. So, Stephanie, good luck tonight for your Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah.
And I will
Okay.
see you. There you go. And I will see you at FETC 25 in Orlando.
All right. Thank you.